Hey, this is Mr. Jarvis with homework help for Tuesday, January 9th. And they're asking us to write two fractions equivalent to the decimals shown here. These decimals here. So 1/10 is 1/10. The easiest one is this. Now that maybe I didn't clip the homework right in. See, they want us to do it in powers of 10. They don't. That's what I think, because easily I could say, well, it's 2/20ths, right? That's equivalent. But I think what they're trying to get us to think of, like 1/10. If I take 1/10 and I multiply it by powers of 10, because we're looking at large numbers here. That's the same as 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 1 0, 2 zeros, 100 has 2 zeros, 10 hundredths. So I could put 10 hundredths, 10 hundredths. Okay, kind of messy here. All right. So 1 thousandths, I could write 1 thousandths. Let me do the same thing. 1,000, and we write an equivalent 1 times 10 tens. Well, 1 times 10 is 10. 1,000 times 10, that doesn't look like a 10, does it? 1,000 times 10. 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. And we know that this has 3 zeros, this has 1, that's 4, so this should have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It does. Okay, so you guys have a bunch more of those. Do it in powers of 10, please. Okay, now on this one, they're asking us to just basically subtract decimals, and we've been working on in the class. So I'm going to start with a 4 and 600. So 1/10 less than 4 and 600 minus, you got to line these decimals, 1/10. And it also helps me to also have zeros here. So 6 minus 0 is 0. 6, I mean. 6 minus 0 is 6. 0 minus 1, I got to borrow from the 3's. The 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. I bring down the decimal point, and I have 3. 96. 3 and 96 hundredths. 0.96. Okay, let's do the same. So 1/10 greater than 4.06. 4.06. 1/10 greater. I'm adding. So I have, it helps me, I don't know, it just looks lopsided to me to put a 0 here, even though it doesn't do anything. So 6, 1 point. So this would be 4 point or 16 hundredths, 0.16 or 16 hundredths. So here we have 100th less, so it's going to be 4 point. I can just do that in my head real quick. 4.05 and so forth. And now I have to go 1/10 greater. Okay, let's move on. Now we got this monster of the problem. We're talking about micrometers. A micrometer is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. Meaning if I have 1 meter, so here's a million. 6 zeros. 1. Hopefully we remember this from kind of the beginning of the year. And I divide 1 by 1,000,000. 1 meter, micrometer. So imagine, all numbers could have a decimal point to the right of them. So I have to, if I'm dividing this by 1,000,000, 1 by 1,000,000, it would mean I'd have to move this decimal point 6 places to the left. 1, that's what they did. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and put my decimal point here. And it's proper to put a 0 in the ones place, but the decimal point's here. And you'll notice, if I'm not sure, let me just kind of point this out. And let me get my red pen here. So this has, how many places does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. We haven't even talked about millionths of a meter. Okay. So that's how they got that. So they're talking, now let's say you have a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. Let me write that out. 1/100th of a meter. How many micrometers is that? So now I'm going the other way. If I'm going from a larger measurement of unit to a smaller, I have to multiply. A micrometer is a smaller unit of measure than a meter, so I divide it. But I'm going from a larger to smaller, I divide. Smaller to larger, I divide. Larger to smaller, I multiply. So how many micrometers long? I hope I said that right. So I'm going from meters to micrometers, I multiply. Larger to smaller units, I multiply. If I'm going from smaller units to larger units, I divide. Okay, we'll review that more in class. But I'm going from a meter to micrometers. So there's a whole bunch of how many micrometers is 1/100th of a meter? So a micrometer is a millionth of a meter, and there's 6 zeros in a million. So I have to move this over 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that comes out to, so I can eliminate these zeros to the left of the 1. 10,000 comes out to 10,000 micrometers. Micrometers. So I'm converting a larger measurement to a smaller. I have to multiply. So 1 foot is 12 inches. So if I'm going to say write something a foot, which is a larger measurement, to a smaller one, inches, I have to multiply the 1 by 12 and I get 12 inches. Let's say I have 12 inches and I'm converting from inches, smaller unit of measurement, to feet, larger units of measure. I divide. 12 divided by 12 is 1. Okay. Foot. I take the 12 inches divided by 12, which is 1 foot. We'll work on that a little more. So, okay, so here we have a football team for the University of Tennessee Volunteers. Holds 100,000 people. How many stadiums would it take to hold 1,000,000 people? So 100,000. This is 100,000, but I need it to hold 1,000,000. So I need 6 zeros. So I need to multiply this by how do I get this is 5 zeros. How do I get 6? This says I need it to have 6 zeros. So what power of 10 would I multiply this by? You get from 5 zeros to 6 zeros, from 100,000 to 1,000,000. So how many more zeros do I need? From 5 to 6. You guessed it, one more. So 100,000 times 10 is equal to 1,000,000. So I would need 10 stadiums to hold that many people. Okay. So, according to estimates, there are over 300 million people in the United States. How many? 100,000. It holds 100,000. How do I get to 300 million? 300 million. So now I need I need a 3 involved here. So 100,000 times 3 would give me 300,000. But I need all these zeros here. I have 3, 6, 8 zeros. I have 5 zeros here. 2, 5, I need 8. So I need 3 more zeros. So 3,000. So this has 5 zeros, 2, 5, 3, 5. This has 6, 7, 3, 6, 7, 8. So the difference between 5 and 8 is 3. So and I need this 3 to up this factor here. So 3,000. 100 times 3,000 is 300 million. So this is 300 million written out. So hopefully you kind of got that. Pretty tough, big numbers here. And next you're going to do some rounding, which I'm pretty confident you can do. Let me know if you have trouble with it tomorrow. So good luck, everybody.